Okay. I think I will keep this hand.
All right, cool. The app likes me today, so I'm going first.
Excellent.
All right, so I'll start off with a shadowy backstreet. It enters tapped white black land, and I get to surveil one. I'll keep that there and send the turn to you.
All right. I want to play. I want to. I draw for turn. Okay, cool. I'm gonna play a swamp, and it goes back to you.
All right, untap, draw. I will play a Sun Petal Grove. It enters tapped unless I control the forest or plains. I control the plains. So, and it gives green or white. So I'll tap for green and one more, and I will play a Sylvan Caryatid. It's a defender, hexproof, plant, 0/3. It taps for 1 mana of any color. And it's your turn.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to play my woodland. Oh, so draw for turn. Um, 1 second. I'm going to add my Haunted Mire. It enters tapped. And that's it.
Okay. Untap, draw. Play forest. I'll tap green and 3 more for an Arbor Adherent. It's a 2/4 dog druid that taps for 1 mana of any color, or I can tap it for X mana of any one color, where X is the greatest toughness among other creatures I control. So he gives me either 1 mana or mana equal to someone else's butt. And that's it.
Okay.
You can go.
Okay, I'm gonna untap, draw for turn. Ooh. What do you have? You have what mana do you produce?
Black, white, and green.
Okay. Want to play Woodland Cemetery. Woodland Cemetery is a land that's either black or green. This land enters tapped unless you control a swamp or a forest. So I do control a swamp, so it does not enter tapped.
You also
And
control the forest because your Haunted Mire is a forest swamp.
yep, gotcha. Thanks. Yes. And then what are the things you have in front of you right now? I'm sorry, wasn't paying it.
A
Wasn't
0/3 defender and a 2/4 dog druid that gives me mana. Both of these produce mana.
okay. I'm going to play my Adothi Voidwalker for 2 black mana. It's Shadow, means this creature can block or be blocked by only creatures with Shadow. So I
Yeah,
can only block Shadow creatures. Is that what it's saying?
he can only block shadow creatures, and he can only be blocked by shadow creatures.
Okay, well, we're playing him anyway. It says if a card will be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a void counter on it. And then it
Yeah,
says tap this, sacrifice this creature, choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it. You may play it this turn without paying its mana cost. Okay.
yeah. I forgot that was in there. That is a
Good.
very good card, by the way. Yeah, so anytime I cast a spell, like an instant or sorcery, it will get exiled after resolving, and then you have access to it. If you
Yeah.
kill a creature of mine while he's on the battlefield, you'll exile it, and you can cast it
Yeah.
once he's able to tap. So he's essentially If I want to fill my graveyard, I cannot while he's there. So he's a very good tool to have. Also, I cannot block him. I don't have shadow creatures.
Yeah,
You don't want him as a blocker. He's a great attacker, but he's essentially a utility piece that hates or disrupts another player's play style. So you steal stuff.
very
It's a very
cool.
good thing to have on the board.
All right. And then with that, back to you.
Tap, draw.
I'll
Well,
make I'll make this here my commander zone so we know. So on top of here is my commander zone.
your play is slightly annoying.
Oh,
The
good.
Bounty Voidwalker. Yeah, because anything I play now that is not a creature, you will get. Do I want you to have those things? Because you don't have blue right now, and you need blue for your commander. All right, I'll first start off with a plains. I'll tap black, green, and white, and two more. And I will play Betor, Ancestor's Voice, my commander. Flying, lifelink, at the beginning of my end step, I get to put a number of +1/+1 counters on up to one other creature I control. The amount of counters is equal to the amount of life I've gained this turn. And then I get to return a creature from my graveyard to the battlefield equal to the life I've lost. But if I don't have a graveyard, I will never get anything back. So, anyways, I'll play him. Now, this Arbor Adherent can tap for 5 mana because Betor has 5 toughness. Hmm. Boy, I could. Well, you can't block it.
What's the toughness of the adherent actually?
4.
Okay.
Okay, I'll tap this guy for 5 green mana, and I'm going to cast Cultivate. Cultivate gets me 2 basic lands, one on the battlefield tap, the other to my hand. So this is now exiled with a void counter on it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so the Cultivate, I didn't really want to give it to you because you can use it to find your missing color. So I'll put these things with void counters over here with that die on them.
Mm-hmm. And so
Uh,
cultivate again does what? I'm sorry. It's kind of interesting because while I see more of your field now as opposed to last week, it's still no clearer. Like I can't actually read the text or the numbers or anything really.
Cultivate lets you go get 2 basic lands. One goes to the battlefield tapped, the other one to your hand.
Nice. But again, in order for
Oh,
me to get it, I would have to sacrifice my Dothy Voidwalker.
yes, I will find a swamp and a forest. And I will put the swamp on the battlefield and the forest into my hand. And then you can go. I didn't gain life. I did not. Yeah, that's it. You can go.
Okay. So okay, I'll untap, draw for turn. Wow, nice. Oh wow. Okay. I'm starting to get a feel for this. Okay, I'm gonna play Exotic Orchard, which is a land that allows me to add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. And from what I understand, you have an island, correct?
No, I don't. I produce white, black, and green.
Okay, never mind. I would like to play my island.
Okay.
Is that okay? Sorry.
Yeah,
I
it's
looked
fine.
at that wrong. Okay, so I'm playing an island, and then, huh? And then, um, Then I'm going to cast Teval, the balanced scale, for 4 mana, 1 blue, 1 green, 1 black, and 1 whatever. Teval, the balanced scale, is a legendary spirit dragon with flying. Whenever Teval attacks, mill 3 cards. Then you may return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. Okay. And then I would like to attack you with my Dothy Voidwalker.
Okay. Can't
It's
block
a
it.
3/2. Nice. And it's back to you.
Untap. Draw. I'll play the forest that you saw. How big is Teval?
Teval is a 4/4.
4/4. All right. I'm going to go to attacks.
Okay.
I'm going to attack you with my commander. He's a 3/5. Flying. Lifelink.
Okay.
If you
So,
block, it won't kill him. You will not receive damage if you block. Your creature won't die. I do have 6 mana available, so I could have a trick, or I could kill it, whatever. But essentially, if you block, at face value, your commander wouldn't die. So
yeah. So the first thing I'm thinking is exactly what you just said. Yeah, it looks like a trap because, yeah, I can block him, but you have lots of open mana. 1 second, let me close my window. All right. Yeah, so
yeah,
that's the
I
first thing.
mean, my deck could have. I mean, because of the colors and stuff, there are effects in these colors that give it extra extra power, but that's not what this deck is about. I do not have any of those effects in this deck. It's
I
not
see.
I mean, that's not the point of my deck. My point is to gain life and to lose life. In that order, actually. So
Mhm.
I'm attacking to gain life. If you block or not, that's up to you. But I'm just telling you that it's not, no, the point of this deck is not to hit for as much damage as possible. Uh, with there's no
Okay,
tricks.
I hear you.
There's no
Okay,
combat tricks
okay.
in this deck.
Well, that's very nice of you. Well, let's take you at your word and see. I will block with Teval, the balanced scale.
All right. I have no effects before damage. Do you?
No.
All right. So I hit you for 3. You hit me for 4. Neither of our dragons die, but I gain 3 life.
Ah, okay.
All right. All right. Post combat, I am going to cast. All right, just 1 black. Okay. 1 black, 2 white, and 3 more. 2 more. Sorry, just 2 more. I'm going to cast Lisa, Shroud of Dusk. This is a 5/5 flying angel that says this first part doesn't matter. Flying lifelink, whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life. So whenever you or me cast spells, there's an additional lose 2 life attached to that spell. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. So that's a flying angel with lifelink. And now I would like to go to my end step.
Okay.
In my end step, I will, since I gained 3 life, I can put 3 counters on 1 other creature I control. I'm going to put that on Lisa. So she's going to become an 8/8. So 3 +1/+1 counters on her. I did not lose any life, so I do not get to reanimate. I also don't have a graveyard, so it wouldn't matter anyways. And that's all I'm going to do this turn.
Excellent. I'm going to untap, draw for turn. Ooh. I mean, I should maybe just say, just in case this is not clear from how I'm playing, that other than having looked at these cards once when I sleeved them, and now playing them, I haven't seen them. So when I draw a new card, I'm like, oh, what's this?
But I mean, these decks are full of cool stuff, and also cool stuff that you actually want to do. So there's that. I get it. I did the same thing when I played this deck first.
Gotcha. Very cool. Okay, so then I'm going to play my land for turn was an exotic orchard, which says add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. So you have white, green, and black at this moment.
Yes.
Okay, then these okay, let's see, that would be 1, 2. Actually, I will do this one for the black. This one for the green. Sorry, just a moment. I'm working this through. Oh wow, that's a lot. That's a lot different. What did you change?
In the video settings, I changed to HD.
Yeah, I mean it's still no clearer, but it's different.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if
Trying
I
to
do
see.
this. Um, okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I am going to play Putrefy. Putrefy is an okay. Actually, well, I'm not very good at playing stuff for effect, I guess, but I'll do it now anyways because I realize it's an instant. I should have played it later, but that's okay. I'm gonna play Putrefy, which is an instant that says destroy target artifact or creature. It can't be regenerated. So I will destroy your guy with the counters on it. I'm gonna use Exotic Orchard to get 1 green from you, or that you can create, and then a black, and this blue is my third. Does that happen?
Yeah, I have no counter magic in this. So what? So as part of casting it, you will lose 2 life from my angel, right?
Right. And that's the one I'm destroying, though.
Okay. Yeah, but you still lose the 2 life because you're
Understood.
casting it. It's on the cast. All right. So you're destroying my Lisa. It,
Yep.
it will go to. It will be exiled with a void counter on it
Yep.
because you dealt your void walker.
Gotcha. Okay, so there's that. And then um oh goodness. Okay. Oh, you disappeared. There you go. Okay. Um Ooh, it's always my mana stuff. I tell you, man. Okay, I'm going to play Phyrexian Reclamation, which is an enchantment that says if right now it costs me 1 black. But then to activate, it's 1 black and 1 generic mana. It says pay 2 life, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So I will play that right now. And then I would like to attack you. What are your defenders like? If I do you have something that can block my Teval and kill it? That's a
No,
4/4.
I do not have any flyers.
Okay, good. So then I will attack with the Dorothy Voidwalker and with my Spirit Dragon here. And it says whenever Teval attacks, mill 3 cards. Then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So that should happen before we even resolve for damage and anything, right?
That's correct.
So 1, 2, 3. There are no lands in here right now. Okay. But I can tell you what you should see what these are, right? So one is the colossal. Huh?
In the graveyard, yes.
Yeah, so one is the colossal Grave Reaver, which is a 7/6 flying creature dragon. Second one is a Woe Strider horror creature, which is a 3/2. And the third one is a Diviner of Mist, a 4/5 flying dragon again. Okay. And yeah, so then that's my attack. How do we adjust damage? What do you want to do? You want to declare blockers?
I can't block any of your things. They're flying or shadow, so I'll take the 7 damage.
Okay, sorry, I'm forgetting sometimes. Okay, cool. And then it passes to you.
Okay, 1 second. All right, untap. Draw. I'll play a land. And I'll attack you for 3. I'm attacking you with my commander. Tarkir.
Yeah. But I can still block even if I'm tapped, right?
No.
Okay, so then I'll take the damage.
1, 2, 3.
And it's commander damage, yeah.
Yep, and I gain 3. I'll go straight ahead to my end step. I'll put 3 counters on my Arbor Adherent, and I'll send the turn back to you.
And the counters come from your commander, right?
That's correct.
All right. I'm untapping. Okay, then I will draw for turn. Jesus. Oh, I really want to play this guy. Okay. I will play Memorial of Folly, which is a land that enters tapped. It allows me to add 1 black mana. And additionally, if I play 2 and 1 black mana and tap it, I can sacrifice this land to return a target creature card from my graveyard to my hand. Okay? Good. So I will put that here so we know. Okay. Excellent. All right. Then okay, I'm going to play my Springblood Druid. Springbloom Druid, sorry. A Springbloom Druid is a elf creature, which costs me 2 generic mana and 1 green. So I will use my Exotic Orchard to take a green from you. And then I will use these 2 here, my island and my swamp, to pay for the generic mana. It says, when this creature enters, you may sacrifice a land. If you do, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So I'm going to, this goes in here, it says I have to sacrifice a land. I will sacrifice. Doesn't really make sense, does it? I think actually I will use my woodland now. So I'm gonna use my haunted mire instead of the island to do that. And then I will sacrifice the, no, sorry. I'll do it instead of the swamp. Okay, then I will sacrifice the swamp to get 2 basic lands on the field. They enter tapped. I'll do the island. You never know. Okay, shuffling. Okay, so there's that. And then I want to move into my attack phase. So I'll attack with my Dauthi Voidwalker and Teval the Balance Scale.
Trigger.
Oh yeah, trigger. Okay, so I will scry 3.
No, you will put 3 cards. You will mill 3.
Mill 3, sorry, yes. So the first thing is a Grizzly Salvage. It's an instant. Next is a Cephalid Colosseum, which is a land. And then we have the Terramorphic Expanse. According to this,
You get a land.
you can play, you may return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield tap, which means now my choice are my 1 swamp that I put in here, or either one of these 2 lands. So the Terramorphic Expanse, so the Cephalid Colosseum deals 1 damage to me. It also has Threshold, where I can pay a blue mana and tap it to sacrifice this land, target 3 players, draw 3 cards, then discard 3 cards, activate only if 7 or more cards are in your graveyard. And then the Terramorphic Expanse is sacrifice this land, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Okay, so the Terramorphic Expanse doesn't add any mana by itself, so I definitely have to sacrifice it. But it also doesn't say that it enters tapped.
But your effect that puts it into play makes it enter tapped. Teval puts it into play tapped.
Correct, yeah. Okay, may I ask which one would you think is the better choice?
Colosseum.
Okay, why would
Because
you
it
say
draws you
that?
cards.
Draws me cards. Okay, so Cephalid Colosseum enters tapped.
Well, it would either way, for its own effect or for the effect that you're bringing it back with, it enters tapped.
Right. Okay. And yeah, so the attack stands towards you.
Yeah, damage has already been taken.
Okay, thank you. That's it. Back to you.
Untap. Draw. Need to find a way to kill your Voidwalker. Pay 3, white and 2 more, and play the Gaffer from Lord of the Rings. At the beginning of each end step, if I gain 3 or more life, I draw a card. And then I would like to go to attack and send Betor and the Arbor Adherent your way. So that's 3 and 5. So 8 total damage coming your way.
All right, and I have no choice but to take it because I don't have any blockers.
All right.
That can block.
I gain 3 life. And then second main, do nothing. End step, trigger Betor. I will put 3 counters on the Gaffer. And since I gain 3 or more life, I will draw a card from the Gaffer card. And it's your turn.
Okay. I will untap. A little management here. Okay. Alrighty then. I will draw for turn. Okay. Okay. So I will. Okay, these I also have to untap. Okay. Quickly check here. 1, 2. Okay. Okay. So I will start by casting Noxious Gearhulk. Noxious Gearhulk is an artifact creature construct with menace. It says when this creature enters, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. So let me see. So I need to do 1, 2. So this is where I draw the blacks. And then I do 1, 2, 3, and one of these 4. Okay. So now question to you, what is the toughness of your gaffer and the toughness of the other guy there?
5, 5, 7, 3.
Okay. So thinking the best thing I could do is destroy your commander. So I gain his toughness and you'll have to recast him.
Is that what you're going to do? You asking a
Yeah.
question or you telling me?
Well, yeah, I guess I should just really say I'm kind of torn. I'm thinking that it's either that or the gaffer because you get more stuff and you get to get cards from this guy. But if you have to recast your guy, you're gonna get to put the things out. So my first, okay, is it okay if I ask you this question? So my
I don't
first
know if
thought
I'm
was,
going to answer, but go ahead.
my first thought was to go towards the gaffer because he gives you more cards and also he has more toughness, so I actually get more life back. Um, that's my first thinking. But on the other hand, if you get to put more counters on your guys all the time, that's also not so good. So my first thought is do the gaffer. So I think that's what I'll do is I'll destroy the gaffer. So and I get 7, right?
You get 5.
5. Okay. All right. So there's that. And then I'm going to
Your Gearhulk is a creature. It stays in play.
apologies, yes. And then for the land, I will I
Do
will
you
use,
have threshold?
yeah, I do. Threshold is 1 blue plus tapping it, so I have a blue and I can tap it.
But only if
What do you mean only if?
you need to have
Sacrifice
the
this land?
threshold.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
need to have 7 cards in my graveyard.
Do you have 7 cards in your
3,
graveyard?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, I
Okay,
have
then
8.
you can.
Okay, so I'll sacrifice this and I get 1 damage. Because
Yeah,
it
you have
says
to
when I
pay the
tap
blue
it.
and tap it. Yes.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
tap and sacrifice the Colosseum. Yes.
right. So then I get to so I will I will say I'm the target player. Then I'll draw 3 cards and discard 3 cards. And I activate it only if 7 or more cards in your graveyard. So I do have that. So I get to draw 3 cards. 2, 3. And now I get to put 3 in my graveyard. So I will put okay, I'm going to let's see here. Um, okay, I will put Afterlife from the Loam onto my graveyard. And 2 more. I'll put the Golgari Rot Farm also in my place here. And then 1 more. I have a question for you about this plan. Should I better ask when I play it? Or is it fair to ask you a question now?
Yeah, ask a question. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have this card called Conduit of Worlds, and it says you may play lands from your graveyard. And additionally, it says tap this to choose a target non-land permanent card in your graveyard. If you haven't cast a spell this turn, you may cast that card. If you do, you can't cast additional spells this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so the first thing is you may play lands from your graveyard. That basically means I have a land in the graveyard, I can play it, right?
Yeah, as your land for turn. You either play 1 land from your hand or 1 land from your graveyard. You still have only 1 land you can play. So, but yeah, essentially you can play any land that is in your graveyard as if it were in your hand. Yes.
And okay, so just by having this out, I can do that, but it's 1 land per turn. Okay, good.
Yes.
And the second one is choose target non-land permanent card in your graveyard. If you haven't cast a spell this turn, you may cast that card. So basically, any permanents, including creatures and stuff like that, I can cast them from my graveyard by tapping this. But then I can't cast anything else anymore.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Um, I'm going to put Junji the Midnight Sky into the graveyard as well. Okay. And then I'm moving into my attack phase. Battle, what do you got? Attack phase, yeah. I will attack with my Dauthi Voidwalker and Teval the Balance Scale. And the Noxious Gearhulk just got entered now, so I can't use him.
Trigger.
Trigger, I will take 3 cards. And I can play.
You mill 3 cards into your graveyard. Then you can put a land from your graveyard into play. If you didn't create your zombie last turn.
I didn't create a zombie last turn. Oh, okay. I didn't play my zombie last turn. Sorry, what did you
So
mean by
you,
that?
the last part of Teval's ability, when one or more what leaves your graveyard?
Uh-huh. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. So you're
Yeah,
saying I
when you
didn't do that,
when you put the Cephalid Colosseum into play, where did it come from? It came from your graveyard. Did it leave
right?
your graveyard? Yes. So you would
Yes.
have created a zombie druid, just like
Okay.
now you're going to create a zombie druid. So you should
Right.
have at the end of the resolution of Teval's ability, you should have two zombie druids in play.
Okay, but I forgot the last one, so really I only should have one now, correct?
It's not a May ability. You don't may create a zombie druid, you create a zombie druid. So you have two zombie druids and one that could
Gotcha.
have attacked turn, but you didn't attack. But since attacking is optional, I'm not going to take extra 2 damage for that.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you do have it
So
in play.
yeah, so I will recast. I will put these three in the thing, and I'll cast Golgari Rot Farm tapped from there as part of this ability, and then I'm
You
going
don't
to
cast it, you put it into play. There's a
put it into
difference.
play.
You still
Right.
have to bounce another land to your hand when that enters.
I still have to do what for my land?
The Golgari Rot Farm says when when this land enters play, return another land card to your hand from play.
Okay, from play, so from in here. The graveyard is not considered play, right?
No.
Okay, so in that case, I think I will rather cast my forest.
You're not
Okay.
casting. You don't cast lands. You put them into play.
All right, so I will rather put my forest into play, and then as part of this, I can create a 2/2 black zombie druid, and so this is a zombie druid, and I'll have two of these zombie druid, and that's a 2/2, and then another zombie druid, and that's another 2/2. Okay. And a quick question about those: when they're created, they are it's like they have summoning sickness too. At that point,
They do.
okay, good, all right. So that's the end of Taval.
Also, even if they had haste, you already declared your attackers. That's why why Taval's trigger happened. Is when he
Gotcha.
attacks. So we already passed the declare attackers phase. So even if they did have haste, they couldn't attack if they were just created because of how steps and phases work.
Gotcha. All right,
I
thank you.
already took my damage, by the way.
You already took your damage. Okay. Then that's the end of my turn. Back to you. Thank you for your
Okay.
patience.
Untap, draw. I'll play another forest. And I am going to attack. I'm going to attack with the same two that attacked last turn. So it's 3 in the air and 5 on the ground. So it's 5. That's 7 total.
Okay.
You can block the Arbor Adherent. He's
Yeah,
a he's a 5/7.
right. But it would also mean that my Noxious Gearhulk dies.
But if you block with the Noxious Hulk, yes, then you would.
Oh, I
Is
see.
that a
Okay,
bad thing, though?
right. Okay, I think I would like to block with one of my zombie druids.
Okay. All right. I have no other effects before damage, so if one of your zombie druids dies, and you take 3 damage from Betor.
Mm-hmm.
I
Let
gain
me
3
see.
life.
Let me see if I understand correctly. I probably could have blocked with both of my zombie druids, correct?
You could have blocked with all 3 creatures and killed this guy
Okay.
if you wanted to, or you could have blocked with the Gear Hulk, and then later, when you want to replay him from your graveyard, because you have the Conduit of Worlds in hand. So there's
Mm.
many things you could have done, but that's
But that's not what I did. Gotcha.
After combat, I will pay 2, 4, 6. I'll pay 6. White, green, and 4 more. I will cast Dragon Lord Dromoka. He is a 5/7 flyer with lifelink. This spell cannot be countered, and my opponents cannot cast spells during my turn.
Okay.
So he's a big dragon. And then I'll go to my end step. I've gained 3 life. I will put 3 counters on Dromoka. So he's now an 8/10. And it's your turn.
Okay. I will untap. And draw for turn. Okay. Then let's turn it on here. Let's turn here. Oh, here. Just a moment. It's minus 7. Okay, so I will play Ob Neelix the Fallen, which is a let. Huh? Nixilis, sorry. Ob Nixilis, Neelix. I was too Star Trek on it. Ob Nixilis the Fallen, legendary creature, a landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you may have target player lose 3 life. If you do, put 3+1/+1 counters on Ob Nixilis. He's a 3/3. So this costs me 5 mana total, 3 generic and 2 black. So I will use my exotic orchard to get a black from you, and a Memorial of Folly for the other black. And then I will use my 2 forests and 1 island for him. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Then I will play my my land for turn, which is the command beacon. It says add a generic mana, sacrifice this land, put your commander into your hand from the command zone. So by playing this landfall, I get to put 3+1/+1 counters on Ob Nixilis. Correct?
Yes, and what else happens?
Whenever land you control enters, you may have target player, and the target player loses 3 life. So I would like to say that you lose 3 life.
That is a May ability. So if you don't remember to do it, then it didn't happen, since it says
Gotcha.
May.
Okay, cool. And then, so it doesn't say anything that this enters tapped or anything like that. And so that means then I want to play my Conduit of Worlds. Oh, actually, wait a minute, sorry. Which one's ultimately more successful? I think I will do this and that. I will use the Phyrexian Reclamation. I'm paying 1 black mana and 1 generic, so one whatever. These 2 here in this case. Actually, I think I'll use the command beacon for it. Like that. Okay, sorry, it's a little bit weird.
You can't use the island. You need black mana.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Okay, here we go. To
Pay 2 life.
to gain and pay 2 life, yes, to gain a creature from my graveyard back to my hand.
And that is a card leaving your graveyard, which triggers what?
Which triggers my getting a new zombie druid. Okay. All right, I will reclaim Colossal Grave Reaver into my hand. And then I'm putting a zombie druid here. Where is it? I put my pen somewhere in a weird place. Oh, here we go. Okay. I have to say, thank you for your patience. Definitely, this deck has more of these sort of interactions that make me take really long turns, and I haven't played with them well. So it's a bit of a challenge here. So thanks for being patient for me here. I know I need to improve on that. Okay, so
all of the cards are new, so I get it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so there's that. Then I'm going to attack you. So I'm done with this. Anything else from your side? No, no instance, nothing.
Nope.
Okay, then I will attack you with Dorothy Voidwalker and my Teval the Balanced Scale. And I will attack you with my Noxious Gearhulk as well.
And that guy has men.
Yeah, Menace. And Menace, again, remind me, Menace means what?
Can only be blocked by 2 or more creatures.
Yep. Okay, so that's a total of 3, 7.
Trigger.
Trigger. Yes, I get to look at 3 cards.
No,
mill 3 cards. Yeah,
you don't choose, right? So when he attacks, you must mill. It's not a main, and it's not like you can choose which ones to leave. It's
okay. So I get to mill these 3. It's a Avenger of Zendikar, Millikin, and Welcome the Dead. And now I get to put a land from my graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. Okay, I will put Cephalid Coliseum back on. Okay. And so I've declared, and it's on you.
1 second. Something else happens when that Cephalid Coliseum leaves your graveyard.
Oh, yes, I have to sacrifice. Oh, sorry. This land deals damage to me.
But that's not what it's triggering.
My another zombie druid, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, this Teval thing is pretty powerful.
Right. So these are your attacks declared.
Yes.
I am going to block your Teval.
Okay.
With my 8/10. I'll take I'll take the other 7 damage.
That means Teval dies.
Yes, and I will gain 8 life. So the your Noxious Gearhawk is a 5/4, right?
Yes.
So the life that I would lose, I will gain right back. So I lose no life, and your commander is dead.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So then that's the end of my turn. It's yours.
There's one more thing that happened when you returned to Cephalid Coliseum, by the way. Your Obnixilis triggers because a land entered.
Oh, okay. Yes. So then that means I get 3 more on here. Yes. That's a 6. Oh, wow.
As
So much upkeep.
I'll take the 3 damage from Obnixilis because that landfall is a May ability, right? So I reminded you this time, but that's I'm not going to keep reminding you of it, right? It's a May
Understood.
ability, so you have to. I will remind you of the things that I know that happen that are obligatory,
Mm-hmm.
mandatory, if you will, and but the May ability is something to keep track of, and because since it's May, uh, if they may not, right? So
I
that's
understood. So in this case, thank you very much. Realistically, if I would have remembered, then you would have taken 6 damage, 9 damage from him instead of 6, correct?
no, because you put 2 lands into play this turn since you played him,
Ah,
so he
yeah.
triggered twice this turn. It's only he only came in this turn. That's why he didn't attack. So
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
you're having a lot of impact. There is a lot of things. There is a lot of things to keep track of. Yes, but that's but this is what you call value plays, right? You have engines to put things into your graveyard. You have ways to get them out. You have different ways to get out different types of cards, and you have ways of blocking and damaging. Obnixilis is essentially a finisher on its own because there are cards that some a couple of them in your deck which allow you to play multiple lands in a turn. And for each land that enters, you get that landfall trigger. So the cards, while he's out, anything that puts a land into play, it translates to 3 damage, right? So he's a finisher. Also, he grows himself. He's already a 9/9. So he can finish games on his own. I used to run him as my commander in a mono black deck with my demons, just for ancillary value. But yeah, so anyways, as you said, like you'd like to slowly build up. He's a finisher in that
Mhm.
sort of deck. Just as an FYI. Untap, draw. All right, your flyer is out of the way for a little bit. At least he can't attack next turn. I'll pay white, and 3. So 5 total for Boonbringer Valkyrie. The Boonbringer Valkyrie is a 4/4 flying first strike lifelink angel. So, and it has the ability to back up 1. When it enters, I get to put 1 counter on another creature, and that creature gains the abilities of this one. So I'm going to give a +1/+1 counter to my commander. So he's now a 4/6. And besides flying and lifelink, he also gains first strike until end of turn. So now I am going to attack you with with both of my flyers. And that's a 4 and an 8 in the air. So that's 12 damage in the air at you.
That I cannot block.
If you unless you have flyers or effects that do something to them.
I sure do not. So I'll
All
take the
right,
damage.
that's 12. I gain 12 because they have lifelink.
Mm-hmm.
4 of this damage was commander.
Mm-hmm.
Now I would like to move to my end step.
Mm-hmm.
I have gained 12 life. I will put 12 counters on my angel. It gains 12 counters. So it's now a 16/16. Flying first strike lifelink. And I'm sending the turn to you.
Right, which means realistically, unless I can regain enough land and life at this point, if you attack me with the flying angel next time, I'm dead.
Yeah, currently in the air, I have 28 damage.
Okay, well, I'll untap for turn. Well, I'll just untap, right? You don't have to say untap for turn. Okay. All right. Put this guy over here. Okay. All right, I'll draw for turn. Okay, I'm going to play my Hinterland Harbor. This land enters tapped unless you control a forest or an island. I do control a forest and an island, so it does not enter tapped. Put them right here. And it's landfall, so I get another 3 on Obnixilis, right? Making him a 12/12. And then I'm going to cast Colossal Grave Reaver, which is my flying creature. So this I need one black, which I'll take from you. I'll need 1 green. And then I need 6 others, so I will go with the 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So,
Recount that mana.
huh?
Recount that mana.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep.
So it's just one of those lands slightly off camera, so I didn't see it. That's fine.
Yeah, no problem. It's a lot. I did. Okay. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, mill 3 cards. And then whenever 1 or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from your library, put 1 of them onto the battlefield. So, best as I understand is I mill 3. 1, 2, 3. And these go now into the graveyard.
Well, since a creature goes to the graveyard, you can choose that creature to come into play because
Right.
that's what he does. There's only one
Right.
creature, so
There's only 1 creature, so it has to be the creature skeleton warrior, which I guess comes in. Now this goes into the graveyard, which means where do we have this?
it's on your commander who's not there.
It's on my commander who's not there.
Also, this thing is going to the graveyard. Well, actually, yes, I think it'll if your commander had been in play, then yeah, since you milled them,
Yeah,
they go to the graveyard. You put, even though you put it into play, I'm not sure of the interaction there, but it might actually work. I would have to
yeah,
look because of how it's written. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. But I didn't actually put my commander back in play, which actually would have been the smarter play. I realize now. I'm going to die because I didn't do that, but that's okay. I'm learning. But
you're going to die because I have 3 flyers and you have 1 flying blocker.
right,
and you have 14 life. So
Yeah. So I did get one more here, so I will get a zombie druid, right?
no, you don't.
Because I
Your
no longer
commander
have
is
my
not in
guy.
play.
That's right. There you go. All right. So then whew, um, but let's see. So I am dying no matter what, because unless I have something in hand that can block more of your creatures, I just can't do it.
Well,
I
actually,
could,
you can survive a turn. I do not have trample. So this is
okay.
4, 12, and 16. So if you block the Valkyrie with your dragon, then you will get to stay alive with 2 life.
I think I will try that. Okay, so now I am going to attack you, and now I basically want to make sure that I just have my flying guy not attacking because I need to have him block you.
You can attack with the Delphi Voidwalker because he has shadow. I have no shadow creatures. He
Yeah,
can't block anyways. So
right. So I will attack with the Dorothy Voidwalker. I will attack with the Noxious Gear Hulk,
I
and I will.
wouldn't. I mean, yeah. Okay.
You wouldn't do that?
I'm gonna kill it. I have 3 blockers, and he is a 5/4. My two, I can block with the 2 creatures that are biggest, and he will die. Also, I have lifelink, so I will gain life based off the exchange, not lose life. If
I
essentially
see.
the Voidwalker is a free attack, because there's no consequence to it. He can't block, and he cannot block anything of mine, and he can't be blocked by anything of mine. So it's just 3 damage. But the Noxious Gearhulk, unless you want him to die, I'm just going to block him, and you get nothing out of it. So
Okay,
it's
makes sense.
yeah,
And then Obnixilis, basically, you can still block him and make him die, right?
yeah, because he is a 12/12, but I have a 16/16.
Okay. And there really isn't any benefit of me putting the zombie druids towards you because um you know
But all depends on what is in your hand. But to what is going to attack you, they wouldn't be able to do anything. So if you just want to go out swinging, then send everything that is not flying at me and see what sticks, right? But um,
no, I think I will just do the druid, the Dorothy Voidwalker for now. So that's it.
take 3.
Gotcha. And it's to you.
Untap, draw, and yeah, this I am going to swing my 3 flyers at you for a total of 28 damage. And I'm assuming you're going to put the dragon in front of the one that
Yeah,
will for sure kill you, right?
that's correct. Yes. That's what I'm doing.
Any effects before damage happens?
Nope, no effects.
All right. So my angel has first strike, so that will happen before regular damage. So your dragon will die. I gain 16 life on that exchange. And then you take 12 from the other 2, where I gain another 12. Now I'm not going to take any action in the second main phase. Well, actually, I will. Yeah.
Yeah, do it as if everything.
I'm going to play
Let
a
me have it.
Wall of Blood. It's a 0/2 wall that cannot attack, but I can pay 1 life to give it +1/+1 until end of turn. I can repeat this at infinitum while I have life. So it's a 0/2 defender, that can grow. I have gained 28 life this turn. I'm going to put 28 counters on Dromoka. 20, 6, 8. So he is, yeah, he's going to destroy the world. Your turn.
All right. Simply to play it out, I'm gonna untap, but I want to see what I'll draw. and then we'll go from there, because realistically I should concede at this point, but I want to see it. Draw for
It
turn.
depends. You can always draw something that destroys everything, right? And that would buy you time.
Sure. This is possible. Okay. Then I'm going to sacrifice Cephalid Colosseum. So I get 1 damage, right? Because it says add, so this land deals 1 damage to me. Is that only when I use it for mana, or is it also when I use it for the threshold?
And it's 2 different abilities. So which one are you activating? The one that gives
Threshold.
you mana and hits you, or the threshold?
The
Does the
threshold.
threshold ability say that you take 1 damage?
No, it just says sacrifice this land, target player draws 3 cards, then discards 3 cards.
So you
And
don't take.
correct. All right, so that means I now get to I would like to be the target player to draw
Sure.
and then discard 3 cards.
Are you certain? You don't
Yeah.
want me to draw 3 cards?
No, I really would not rather. You don't. Oh, Jesus. Um, okay, so I have the Sakura Tribe Elder, the Farseek, and the Life from the Loam. They're all really nice, but they don't really help me in this situation, I think.
Do you have any other card in hand that would allow you to draw cards?
Hmm. I get to mill 3 cards.
Yeah, but right now the Stitcher, I can see what's in your hand. Sorry, it's slightly on camera. The
Gotcha.
Stitcher Supplier would mill you 3 cards. If your Dragon was still there, that would be awesome. If your Commander was there, it would also be awesome to have both of them on the field for that.
Well,
Yeah,
actually, this might work. So here's the thing. I have the command beacon, which means I can sacrifice the command beacon to put the commander in my hand. I think I will do that. So I sacrifice the command beacon to get this guy to my hand, which means I can now cast him if I want to, right?
you could have already cast him just with paying 2 more. So now you sacrifice the land to put
So,
him in
but
your hand, but he currently only costs 2 more. So the Stitcher Supplier costs 1 black, and you have 4, 5, 6, 7 mana available. Your commander costs 6, and then you still have the mana for the Stitcher Supplier. So
okay.
it doesn't. The command beacon is great for when you cannot cast him anymore, right? So if your commander gets removed like twice, where he costs 4.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay.
But right now, from the commands on, he costs 2 more, and I've already seen what's in your hand, so you don't really have any other place to make. You can always do that and like assume that you can do something else, but realistically, this does not save you, right? So the Stitcher Supplier is you can't attack this turn. The Stitcher Supplier really plays well with the dragon that I killed on the last attack,
Hmm.
right? So yeah, I mean.
I think at this
You
point,
can do
I
these
really
things,
should
but there's
concede, huh?
really there's really not much point to it. You can do these things, but based on the amount of mana you will have available afterwards,
Yeah,
no way to give your creature haste to attack, to mill, to get another land back, etc.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this is it was really on the card you drew this turn plus the Cephalid Colosseum to see if you could find something, right?
yeah. So realistically, in terms of the end, I should have tried for the Cephalid Colosseum at the end of my during my last turn, which I could have done. That means I would have had more opportunity not to draw another card, possibly, which would have been this one, which don't really think makes a big difference. The truth is, GG,
That's
man, you
actually a
definitely.
very good card. It wouldn't have necessarily saved you, right?
Yeah,
But here, this was one of those situations where all of a sudden I had you on the back foot,
yeah,
right? And it was mostly because you didn't pay attention to when I said my creature is now an 8/10, and you attacked with your flyer right into my flying 8/10. That was the turning point.
yeah. Because if I would have kept my flyer, my command, and the other one would have been instead for me to actually kill your commander when I could have, and I got your gaffer instead, right?
I could have recast my commander right away. That and as you saw here, I wasn't really doing much because of the Adalthi White Walker. The
So
White Walker,
really,
the White Walker is the thing that really fucked me up because in my hand I had 3 cards that would have gone to the graveyard and they would have rammed you. They would have gotten you more lands into play, and you were definitely benefiting off of my stuff. The Gaffer really hurt for me being able to find answers because drawing a card a turn, I mean, I was able to recover. It's not that you played anything wrong, except for when you send your commanders to die.
yeah,
I think that was not great.
yeah. And here's the thing: what I actually really struggle with, what I really struggle with is, um, uh, really being aware of what's on your side. And it's actually got very little to, I mean, it has something to do with not being able to see it, right? Like not being able to read it, because I don't know the cards as well as you, but that's not really the problem. The real problem is I am still so new to the game and so new to my own stuff that I actually don't have the brain capacity to really see what it is that you're doing. And so I'm actually putting you in a position where I have to be like, hey, what does that do? What does that do? Which, while I appreciate is actually kind of, even if it weren't tiring, which you didn't say it is, but let's say it were, even if it weren't for that, it's just, it makes it so that I can't really prepare for what you're going to send my way because I'm not really aware of it. Like I'm literally like playing against myself for the largest part of this. Like, what am I doing? And really, you're kind of helping me to see what it is that I really got. And it's getting better. But in this particular kind of deck, it really hurt me. Like I didn't, you know what I mean? Like it didn't
But I mean,
do,
a couple of pointers here. The Putrefy is an instant,
yeah.
so you could have done that to interrupt my play, right? So
Yep.
you could have waited, you could have held it until it was really something like. Now, last week you didn't really see what I was doing with this deck. I played it twice and it didn't do anything. And
Mm-hmm.
today you saw what it does, right? I slowly gain life, and then all of a sudden I gain a lot of life.
Mm.
But even I start this all with like 1, 2, 3 power creatures that gain me life, and then you say, all right, cool, that doesn't do much. No, but next turn it's going to gain me 6 life, and the next turn it's going to give me 12 life. That same card that only gave me 3 life in the beginning, and there's other cards in here that double the life gain, or things where I can sacrifice to gain life, and then there's the other part, which you totally disabled with the Delphi Voidwalker, which is I make myself lose life to reanimate creatures, right? If I cannot, your Delphi Voidwalker essentially made it so that I would never have a graveyard. So all my cards that make me lose life were totally shut off. And I was fishing the whole game for something that would kill that damn Voidwalker. And that's what that card is supposed to do. And it's surprising that they reprinted it. They reprinted it in a pre-constructed deck. That's not something that they used to do. That is a very, very powerful card.
Mm.
So, anyways,
It's interesting because it looks so weak. You know what I mean?
yeah, but I mean, when you think about it, right? So it says whenever a card would go to a graveyard. So you can make me like the Cephalid Colosseum, right? You could have made me draw 3 cards and discard 3 cards. Where would those discarded 3 cards go?
Yeah, I got you now. That's true.
Right? So with the
It would
Doughty
it would have
Walkers,
gone
it
into
would
into the
always do that.
exile. Yeah.
And I would have had to choose, like, what do I give you, or what do I give you access to? Because of all the cards that you had exiled, you could have used one. But then there's also a thing, you sacrifice the Voidwalker, so it goes to the graveyard. But you had the Phyrexian Reclamation, so you could get it back to your hand. So you could have, and it's still
Yeah.
and the thing the Voidwalker says is that you can cast a card an opponent owns with a void counter on it. It doesn't need to be the same card that exiled it. It's exiled with a void counter. So you can cycle the Void Walker if you find a way to sacrifice it. Well, it sacrifices itself to cast the card, and that card doesn't cost you mana because you sacrificed the creature. So you had, I was going to say at the moment, you had a combo, a game-ending combo there. You could have made me, so your commander returns lands, right? So you could have returned to Cephalid Colosseum the turn you sacrificed it to have me give you cards. Then you sacrifice your Void Walker to cast one of the cards that you've already exiled. Then you get the Void Walker back to your hand. You attack with your commander. You get the Cephalid Colosseum back. You recast the Void Walker, and next turn do it all over again. Right? So yeah, you're giving me cards, but you're also making me choose, like, what the fudge do I now give you access to? Right? And there comes a time where I only have 3 cards in hand or 0 cards in hand. If you make me like, okay, so you've used all your hand, draw 3 cards and discard them. So I don't even get to choose what I give you. And this is a pre-constructed deck, but this is a valid strategy that people aim to do in constructed. So that deck is very, very powerful. And this is why, well, they have a lot of interactions that are powerful. Same with the Noxious Gearhulk. It costs 6 to cast. Yes, it has menace, but it destroys something and it gives you life. And that life is equal to toughness. And this deck that I'm playing, what does it do? It has big butts, right? So lots of toughness. So you could have even done that, right? So play the Gearhulk, attack me with it. If I kill it, you can reclaim it with the Phyrexian Reclamation and recast it and destroy another thing. So like I have to choose, like, do I take the 5 damage, or do I potentially put 2 creatures in front of it and they die? Do I kill it for you? So there's different ways to apply pressure. Obnixilis, he's a demon. He has like 5 different versions, and he's also a planeswalker. But that's beside the point. He's a 3/3, doesn't look like much, but landfall, ding someone for 3 and grow him by 3 is awesome. Your commander returns a land. So you get to play your land, attack with your commander, and put another land into play. But how about Rampant Growth and Cultivate and a Sakura Tribe Elder that put more lands into play without them being your land for turn? Right? So he can grow immensely big. And you can potentially, I mean, even with the pre-constructed deck, you can, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's an easy way without looking at the deck list. There is a turn that you can sequence where you will trigger him 5 times. So 5 times is 15 points of damage, 15 counters. So he becomes an 18/18 in a single turn. If you do this the turn after he enters and he's no longer summoning Sig, you're now attacking with an 18/18 creatures just because you played lands and the way that things are sequenced. And you can do more, right? Because with that Phyrexian Reclamation and some of the creatures in your graveyard, like the Sakura Tribe Elder, you sacrifice him for a land, he goes to the graveyard. Reclaim it with the Phyrexian Reclamation, put him back into play. Sacrifice him again, get another land. Reclaim him again, play him again. So however long you can keep it going with the amount of lands you have, right? So this is just with the cards I saw, right? All of these plays that I'm explaining now is things you had in play, and so it's keeping track of it is probably the hardest part, right?
Yeah.
Because here and here, and so many times, I mean, at the end, I'm just saying trigger, right? And you have to look around what is. So how you organize that is up to you, right? So you have to find your way, like maybe put all the things that trigger landfall in this corner, and then everything that triggers on attack here, everything, whatever, right? So you can put them in your play area in a way that I am now playing a land. So I look over here and ignore the rest for a minute, not looking around where everything is. eventually, sure, you get comfortable with the with everything. It's like, okay, the reason I'm playing this card is so I can do this. So the sequencing becomes easier because you have it in hand, and maybe you don't play it until you have the other parts. In more optimized games, it's like, oh, this card is going to stay in my hand until I find my combo piece, right? So where I can do this 2, 3, 4 times, or I can protect it, right? So you have, since there's blue in the deck, I don't know how many counter spells there are. This type of game is probably your play style based on how you play board games. It's just so much things happening that you don't really, not one single thing is the problem. The
Mm.
problem is having 2 or 3 of these things, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm gonna put this Vexen Reclamation into play and nothing else. You go. The next turn you play one thing and yeah, go. I'll take 40 damage, whatever, right? So as long as it's one of those things, like depending on the pieces, you can be like, all right, you're down to 5, next turn I die, and you win from there, right? I mean, it depends, right? So
Yeah, I
and
mean it's really one thing I found to be really interesting about this, which I didn't see in the beginning, this being Magic the Gathering in general, right? Is that really there are so many different mechanisms now. Like I'm coming here and it's like what 25 years later, more, right? It's like 30 years, right? Magic came out what
it's
95?
93.
93, right? So it's like, like 20 years. So it's like there are so many expansions, right? I mean, whatever. Yeah, I can't do the math anymore. You got me all wiped up. But
Oh,
anyway,
they had their 30th anniversary a couple of years ago, 2 years ago.
okay,
So it's 32, 33 years now.
gotcha. Yeah, so there's so many different mechanisms that like it's. I think I'm. And then of course there's your play styles that you get most used to and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm not yet at the point where I'm truly creative. If I were to re-examine our game here, I want to try and be proud of some things that I did well. So the first thing I did well is actually not take a mulligan. I was very, very tempted. I didn't do it. That was a good decision because I thought, I think this is a good hand. I think I have enough to actually really start building. I think that's it. And I was very doubtful about it, but I was doing the math on me, like because we talked about it before. It's like, this is good. I think I can work with this. And I did. I didn't really feel a lack of cards until like the second to last turn. I was like, ah, damn. And truthfully, on some level, I felt, yeah, I have this ability to get cards that are in your graveyard, but I was just kind of too chicken to sacrifice the guy. I didn't quite get this Phyrexian reclamation thing. I didn't really. It's like one of those things, and it's one of my weaknesses. I know from even when we played for the very first time. It's one of my weaknesses. I don't like to put anything from my battlefield into the graveyard. I don't like it. It feels like I'm losing, right? It's like I don't have it anymore. So the whole concept of like getting back from your graveyard, I get it,
Get,
but I
get
don't
into
get
your
it.
mind, get into your mind that life is a resource.
Mm.
It's very important to understand this, especially if you play black. Anything with black in it, life is just a resource to be managed, right? It's I'm also in this deck. I played life is a resource, right? Actually, I have the part where all my creatures gain me life, and they trigger one ability of my commander. But on the other hand, everything that is black in this deck, I have to pay life to use their effect. But then I have the counterpart, right? So everything gains me life, and half gains me life, and the rest takes my life. So I need to gain, I need to at least be a parity. So, but this is a life gain deck, right? And it does things with the life. Your deck is a graveyard value deck, right? So I mean, there's a reason why the cards are in the deck. So find the reason. I explained a couple of them with the Doughty Voidwalker into Phyrexian Reclamation. You get my shit, and all it costs you is you sacrifice your creature, and then 2 mana and 2 life to get him back. You could have taken my Gaffer, right? You take my Gaffer, replay your Doughty Voidwalker, and then you start the cycle with your Noxious Gearhulk. The Noxious Gearhulk kills something of mine and gains you life. So I had a 16/16. If you have done that, sacrifice the Noxious Gearhulk, reclaim him, and replay him, that whole play would have cost you 2 life and 8 mana, but you would have gained 16 life, and I would have lost a creature. So 8 mana, 2 life, but you killed something and gained 16 is like, it almost would have turned the table. It would have bought you at least a turn. And you could have done that on repeat every turn with the amount of mana you had, doing nothing else. So you were at the point in your game where drawing cards didn't matter. You had the win on the table. But you didn't see it yet because you haven't done that enough. But you had the win on the table. Maybe not an immediate win, but you could have outvalued me. Right? You could have done it so that nothing of your sacrifice effects would have hurt you, even short term. But yeah, you're right. Like in the 30 plus years of Magic, so many things have been printed. All the things in your deck are less than 10 years old that I saw. Right? So that they've been printed or reprinted and they still work with stuff. Some mechanics are just more broken than others. Shadow is incredibly strong, but you can't block. So it's never like, why should I not attack with this? Right? And the reason why you shouldn't attack is so you can tap it to play something, right? Because it has to tap and sacrifice itself. That's the reason why you wouldn't. But since you weren't comfortable with that, you didn't even consider it. Even my Lisa, right? My angel, that 5/5, that every spell costs 2 life to cast extra, but it has lifelink, right? So it's a 5/5 flyer with lifelink that now everything has attacks on it, but you gain life back. And anyways, so there's value plays. So I think what you're looking for is decks that have the tag value. Maybe graveyard value is not your thing. Maybe you want something that's more blue-green rather than blue-green-black, because blue-green, it draws you cards, it gains you life, it puts lands into play. It just has, it's a resource value, right? So have more of everything is blue-green, the combination of it. But yeah, I mean, I think you actually enjoyed that because you were like, oh wow, and oh wow, and it's not just because it's new cards. You actually said oh wow after reading the cards, not because you saw a new card, right? So that's it felt more like more like fun, even though now you have a headache because you went in essentially like it happens. I mean, these highly synergistic decks, if you're not used to them, it's like, and there comes a point, it's like, oh, I'm just sick of this. I'm just gonna concede right here, even though you're winning. It has happened to me.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I think the way you first got me involved, right? Like you made me play the green mono deck, your green Stompy, right? Which, I still want to replicate it or something like it because that is such a great thing. It's a single color. Learn how it goes. If you get a big creature out, attack the person with it. It's very powerful, right? So for a new player, that's really great. You're not going much on synergies. You're not going much on this. Is just like, do you have the mana to cast this thing? Yes, like that kind of thing. So it's a great way to do the most basic thing, right? Like it's kind of like this, right? So because people know this, instead of attacking someone with a sword or punching them, you cast a spell that punches them or that tramples over them or something like that, right? So that's easy to get. And then so it starts to get you interested. Because I think if I were to try and use a deck like this to get someone interested in the game, I think they would probably be like, fuck no, I don't want to do this, It's like it's too much, right? And I think actually so far, in a sense, one of the most fun interactions that from my side that we've had playing is that when I first brought the Igra deck out, the first deck, because I basically just assembled that from stuff that I had. It's the first deck I've built myself, truthfully, almost in a way without really knowing what to do. I just went like, okay, which cards seem powerful? And then, I played it against you. And even without having done anything different, I won. And then, because the Igra is so powerful, I didn't even realize that, right? We played it again and I won again. But then the next time you brought out something that totally negated the Igra ability. And I was like, oh, okay. So, and then the one after that, where we actually put some new stuff in. So those 4 plays altogether was an interesting cycle. And then, of course, last week playing the what's what we're playing? I was playing the Mardu Surge, I think.
Roar.
Team Aurora. I was playing Team Aurora, right? because it was just so powerful. Like it was interesting to play it with the two different commanders. Today doing this one, this was an interesting play too, but it was like less satisfying, of course, because I didn't win. But I think the biggest thing that was sort of difficult for me is like I felt at some point like I was possibly being an annoying player to play against. I don't know, where it was like, because it's like, oh, what
Well,
about this? What about that?
the point that was a little bit annoying is that you had four great targets for your destruction effect, and you were asking me for advice, and I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what to do in this
Right.
situation. All of it fucks me,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
there's no advice I want to give in that specific play. It's like,
right, right.
so I was losing. I had the game lost until I drew Dromoka. I was lost. If I had drawn a land or another spell that finds me lands or something that had me pay life, another card, I'm like, yeah, I would have just sit there and just waited, right? Because I had to attack to event with my commander to hit you with commander damage and to grow my creatures. And if you had found any way to, if your commander had been one more power, I wouldn't have been able to, right? So because I would have been dead at this point because you hit me four times with him.
Yeah.
So I was in a dangerous place, but I drew one card and you made a misplay. But that's the beautiful thing here is like, yeah, and that's why I told you when you were at two life, like, okay, so you drew your card. Is it something that kills? No. Okay, so then you use the Cephalid Colosseum. Did you draw something that helps you? No. But you drew this, and there was potential, but it was one turn too late, right? So yeah, it's there were points where there was definitely a point where I'm like, I'm just done, right? But then I got the swing back because of your one single actual misplay. Everything else might not have been optimal. Um, I think you did the right thing by killing the gaffer. I think you did the right thing with your putrefy, but I think you could have held the putrefy until
Yeah,
some.
and I noticed that. Remember when I first started, I was like, ah, damn. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to just like say, oh, I'll take it back. I was like, no, this is a stupid mistake. I should have seen it was an instant. Wait till a better point. And I was like, no, I don't. One of those times when you know it's something you got to feel. Gosh darn it! Like I got to feel how much this sucks right now because still a good play, but it would have been so much more effective to disrupt you at some point, and it would have been easy to do. And it would have been easy. It's such an easy
Yeah,
thing to do. And so,
you could have waited. I mean, you could have held it for a while. Like the moment that I won was when I put the 12 counters on my angel, right? So if you
yeah,
would have held it, you could have actually waited. So okay, so in my end step, I'm going to put these 12 counters here, and then you're like, okay, after that, I'm going to kill it, and then take my turn. I would have been on the back foot again because I was so confident that this is the thing that just wins it. If you had the removal, right?
mm,
So for like, I mean, moving forward, you're using a pre-constructed deck that they make based on like there's not a single formula on how to make a commander deck. There's recommendations, and the Command Zone has done several videos on this, and other people make recommendations, and then I make recommendations. But this all depends on where and with whom you play. How do
right,
they build their decks so that you have the answers for it? Usually in all decks and pre-constructed things, there's at least two ways to clear the board of something, right? Of enchantments, of all things that are not lands, dragons or non-dragons, all legendaries, all non-legendaries, all creatures with power 3 or greater, or 6 and below, or mortal things, right? In all decks, there's like two at least, right? In the pre-constructed. Sometimes there's more. Then other things is to destroy spot removal is what they call it, right? So destroy one thing.
right.
There's very good ones that destroy anything. Like in green, there's Beast Within. It says destroy target permanent. You can destroy lands with it. You can destroy
Yeah.
artifacts, enchantments,
Well,
whatever.
and
It
that
says
was another
permanent.
thing. That was another thing. I knew this. Like how like when you know it, but you're just like, well, I know I can do this now, and I don't know what else I'll be able to do later, so I do it now. But so there was the instant when the putrefied. There was a couple of other times where I killed something when it was good, but it probably would have been more effective to keep those things for later. You know what I mean? And this was also the first time where I was kind of in a situation where I'm not going to say I had too much mana because that's not true, but I had a lot of mana, and it was like getting cumbersome to just manage the mana. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
I'm looking. Oh, okay. It has a grave crawl. Okay, so the card that's in that deck is Casualties of War.
Okay.
Casualties of War is it costs 2 black, 2 green, and 2 more. It says choose one or more. Destroy target artifact, creature, enchantment, land, planeswalker. So you can choose one or more. It's not removing many things, but it can remove up to 5 things of different types. So it's a sorcery, but it takes care of several things. The Voidwalker, obviously, then ways to gain life. It has a Disciple of Bolas in it. When this enters, you sacrifice another creature. You gain X life and draw X cards, where X is its power. It's a 2/1 creature. You could have, at this point where you were at, if you had drawn this, you could have sacrificed your 12/12 Ob Nixilis, drawn 12 cards, gained 12 life. Potentially, right? So to find options. Lethal Scheme, you have Living Death in there. It's Living Death is a sorcery for 5 mana. Each player exiles all creatures from their graveyard, then sacrifices all creatures they control, then puts all creatures from their graveyard onto the battlefield, and then all creatures that were exiled from the battlefield into the graveyard. Essentially, you switch graveyards and battlefields. But since your Dauthi Voidwalker said, all my things, instead of going to the graveyard, that get exiled, this would have been one-sided. Everything from you in play would have gone away, but everything in the graveyard would have come back. And since you had the Phyrexian Reclamation, everything that you had sent to the graveyard, you could have brought back to your hand. So it's a little bit tough sometimes to play Living Death, but in the way that you were with the Dauthi Voidwalker, where I never had a graveyard, it's great. The other one you have in there is Necromantic Selection.
Well,
Destroys
that
all
was
creatures.
before you go into
Necromantic.
that. Before you go into that one, I want to hear this, but that's actually one thing I didn't. You know how like I got a little scratch in the back of my brain. That was something like where I was going like, okay, wait a minute, he doesn't have a graveyard, and it's actually well, it's not really just about you mentioned that several times, right? So it's there. Okay, I don't have a graveyard. I don't have a graveyard. So I knew I could play stuff from your not graveyard for me, right? But I didn't really want to do it because I didn't want to sacrifice my Voidwalker because it was too good a power, I felt, right? So that's my one mistake. Second mistake was that didn't um I didn't take advantage. Like I didn't like there was this itching at the back of my brain, but I couldn't quite get what it was. And what it really was is what you were saying is like, well, I have this card that lets me, take 2 cards and put them into the graveyard, right? And I was like, oh, this is good for me. This is good for me. I should do this for me. But actually, the other way around, it would have been, in a sense, more powerful because you actually are forced to discard and discard and discard more and more of your deck that you can't use anymore. And I potentially have access to it. And I think that would have been the big one. And if I would have realized that by itself would have been just, the power. Like, and because I did that twice or 3 times even, right? Like, so if I would have, because it's such an interesting thing, it makes me think if anybody should draw cards, it's me, because drawing cards is power, right? But to realize that actually it's power to me because you can't get it, that's the connection I didn't make. And that I think would have made a huge difference if I would have realized that. So I definitely want to, like, I'll remember that. Just like there's a few cards now where I'm like, okay, Infestation Sage. I get Infestation Sage. Like, Infestation Sage, good. Infestation Sage. Now, like the other guy, I'm like, oh, Shadow Guy, like this one, good one, keep. Yes. Right. And then the other one, also the Phyrexian, what do you call it? Resurrection?
Reclamation.
Reclamation. Yeah, right. So like that, and it's like certain cards, I just have to go like that. Anyway, go on. You were talking about this other card. Like, yeah, I just didn't.
No, I was just seeing like what options did you have in the pre-constructed deck. So this is the necromantic selection is just another way to clear the board. 7 mana, triple black, 4 and 4 more. Destroy all creatures, then return a creature card put into a graveyard this way. So you can take something that would have been put into my graveyard and put it onto the battlefield under your control. So you destroy everything and get one thing back. But one thing from any graveyard that was put there. So you destroy everything, and then, but in this case, if I would have had a graveyard, they would have gone to the graveyard, right? The Dauthi Voidwalker invalidates this, but just if you don't have them on the board and you do this, all right. So your dragon that has hexproof and lifelink, and you can't cast spells during my turn, give me that one, right? Or your angel that has first strike, or whatever else, right? So you can get the best thing that you destroyed under your control. It becomes a zombie, and then you exile this. But there are better board wise than these two. Living Death and Necromantic Selection are not the best, mostly because they're not super efficient mana wise. But they would have, either one would have given you the game, right? But there's only two in this deck. There's only two in the pre-constructed deck. And that's fine. Like 2 is fine, and they're on the upper end of where you want to play mana-wise. But that's something you could have drawn. Either one of those two you could have played. Living Death would have been just pure upside for you, because everything from my board gets exiled with a void counter. And Necromantic Selection the same way, right? Because the thing is that, yeah, your Dauthi Voidwalker would have died as well, because it destroys everything. But everything dies at the same time. So all the things do their effects, even though they're not going where they're supposed to. If that makes sense,
Wow.
right? So,
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting hearing you talk because it's the funny thing. I totally realize this is actually an interesting life lesson for me. I'll be honest. It's so funny that I'm hearing you talk, and it's a little bit like when some. Okay, sorry, I have to repeat it. I'm hearing you talk, and it's like I'm getting a percentage of what you're saying. I'm hearing everything, and like I'm hearing all the words, and it's like when you learn a new language, and I don't even I don't know enough to actually really judge how much of the percentage of it I'm getting. But I'm telling you what, it's not 100%. It might be 50. You know what I mean? So
it slowly makes more sense, right?
right,
Because a
right.
lot, I mean, you understand how cards work on
Yeah.
their own, but then the next part is like this does something to the game as well,
Mm.
right? So yeah, every card has an effect, but then that effect, how does that effect happen, right? You have to pay a cost. So no one can avoid you paying the cost, but people can avoid you having the effect, right? So when does interaction happen? After paying costs. So like you say, I'm going to activate Phyrexian Reclamation. I'm going to pay 2 life and the 2 mana, and then I'm going to target something to return to my hand. That target I can interrupt. If I have a card in hand that says exile a card from a graveyard, I can respond to you targeting your thing and say, okay, in response to you targeting, I'm going to remove the card you targeted from your graveyard. So what happens to your effect? Since you already paid the costs, but your target is now invalid, it fizzles. I made you spend resources and you didn't get anything for it. That is interruption with the interaction,
Yeah.
right? So it's realizing like what can you interrupt with what? You cannot interrupt the paying of a cost, but you can interrupt the targeting or that specific action causing something. Your
Ah, okay,
commander,
okay. Okay, I remember now.
your commander says that whenever a card leaves your graveyard, you create a zombie token, right? So maybe you target this card to come back and I exile it. It still creates a zombie token because by exiling it from your graveyard, it still left your graveyard. So you would have gotten both your effect and the zombie token if your thing had resolved. But I couldn't interrupt all of it unless I also say, oh yeah, I'm also going to kill your commander at this time, and you get
Mm.
nothing, right? So these little doors, these interactions, they don't happen quickly. Many of these things is like, I know I have them in my decks. I don't necessarily play them in that same disruptive way because I don't include them that way, but they have the potential to be used that way. So I'm still having doors open for me based on cards, new cards that come out or interactions that I find when I build something. Oh, but it also works with this, but it works
Mm.
differently because of this. And it might say a graveyard or your graveyard, right? So what's the difference? Well, a graveyard, you can target your opponent's ship, and your graveyard, you're limited to what you have. So when you have a card that says, I don't have a graveyard, all my shit that says your graveyard is now useless. So that is
Yeah, I mean,
what we
that totally
affectionately
makes
call
sense.
hate
Yeah.
cards, right? If you use
Yeah.
hate cards to prevent someone else doing something, that is a it's disruption. I mean, but none of this makes sense when if I had told you any of this when you were playing that mono green
Oh,
stumpy deck,
oh, hell
like
yeah.
whenever
No, no
I
problem.
told you, well, but this gets exiled, and it's like, yeah, so what? I wasn't gonna use it anyways. But now that you've played this deck, it's like, oh, you're gonna exile it? Well, let me see if I can do something about that too,
Mm.
right? So now you're learning, like, okay, so you're responding to someone trying to hate on you. So what's your counter? What's your solution to that? Or how can you bait this out before? How can you have someone use their interaction on something you don't really care about, but if it resolves, it's not bad for you, right? So you're trying to bait, but baiting and like assuming someone has this, it comes much later, right? Because you have
Yeah, I
familiarity.
mean,
Like, what
it,
would
it
I do in that position, right?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of interesting. It's definitely very interesting because, um, like I recently taught our youngest daughter a new game, this board game called Dune Imperium, and it's like, and I taught it to her with two of the expansions plus some bonus cards already folded in because the truth is that's how we play it. And the thing is, I know she's not going to understand much of the strategy, so I'm just trying to teach her the mechanics of the game so she can participate, right? And then possibly help her out as it goes. But we're basically going, there's no way she's going to know everything. There's probably not much of a chance she's going to win. But we're literally just teaching mechanics, right? And so I think there's a real art to teaching someone a new game and be like, hey, you start to get interested in this, right? So I think that's really cool. Like in this one here, I'm thinking about like whether it makes more sense for me to just like we did with the Igra deck to kind of like pick one, stick with it for a while, and then just basically work from there. I mean, I definitely enjoyed doing this today. It's kind of neat. And I'm wondering if I should start looking at cards and kind of like goldfishing more myself. I mean, because I love playing a new deck against you without knowing anything about it. But of course, the truth is that puts a lot of pressure on you. Most definitively, it puts the pressure of okay, now I gotta wait again for him to read this card, which he doesn't understand, and then
It's not pressure. I mean, but if you also notice that
a nuisance,
most of the
whatever.
time I tell you what it does, and after you do it, it's like what options that you would have had, right? So I mean, I can tell you what a card does, and then you look around and you decide to take an action, and then maybe shortly after I tell you like, oh, you could have done this, you could have done that. So it's the way you intuitively, the way someone uses a thing intuitively is important, right? I mean, that there in most things, like if I hand you a controller, like for the PlayStation, how will you hold it? But there's people that hold it like this.
Right.
Why? Because it's intuitive to them based on what they do. Maybe they play fighting games where they need access to certain thing,
Right.
right? So, and that's their experience. And you look at it and it's like, that's not how you're supposed to do it. But it's the intuitive thing for them. Does it make sense to you? No, but it gives you a certain insight.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
In my case, it's like I tell you what it does, and then you use it, but it's not the way that I would have used it. But did you use it correctly? Yes, it's applicable to that situation, but here are a couple of things that I would have done with it. So maybe I learned something new or something I didn't see, and then I tell you something that I would have done based on what I do. So it's either thing wrong, but I think the intuitive part of the game is because they, up until very recently, it really was reading the card explains the card, right? Yes, and that's absolutely right. It explains the card. It doesn't explain the game though,
Yeah.
right? And but explaining the game is just because there's just so many interactions that are possible based on the technicism on how something is written. Like that subtle difference of from a graveyard and from your graveyard. It's just one word difference, but it
Mhm.
changes the whole freaking interaction, right? So, anyways, it comes over time, and I mean, you're still trying to find the style of game that you like. I think value decks are what you're looking for. Egra is an aggressive aggro deck because it gets value of things dying on your side and on other people's side. But how does it win? With a big fucking cat, right? So that
Yeah.
it's an aggressive value deck. You're trying to do one thing and do it well. You're missing pieces of it, yes, but it still works because the concept is sound. But you like value plays, not
Yeah.
just one thing. Nah, if you can repeat it, then yeah. And I think this deck teaches that, is that the Cephalid Colosseum is not great. You draw 3 cards, discard 3 cards. Well, but if everything in your graveyard can come back, maybe you want it in your graveyard right now so you can get it
Mm.
back with that other card, which is cheaper than actually playing the card, right? That dragon, right? So so you mill 3 cards. And how about if it gets something that costs more mana than I have available now? Then you just cheated something into play, right? So you had to pay big for the dragon, but then every time you mill something and it's a creature, you just play it. You just put it
Yeah.
into play. Anyways, that's it comes with time and finding your play style or at least the direction. I
Yeah.
think I think value is your thing, quite honestly.
And, and then here's the interesting thing. So I'm just going back to the game. I hear what you're saying, and maybe just as a final, I'm thinking going back to the game we just played. So you said I basically lost the game the moment you put your 12 counters on the other guy, right? So the funny thing is, so I kind of started losing when I lost my commander because I stupidly attacked when I realized you could do that, and where you could kill it. The truth is, the turn right after that, I could have gotten it right back, but instead I cast that other dragon, and it was too late. I could have, if I'd done the other way around, because it was actually less mana, I could have done something better. But the truth is, you said I had like 3, 4 ways to actually really, strip you, but I just didn't know. So very cool.
Because it's not something you've done before and you
That's
didn't
right.
really see it. You didn't see the end point of it, right? What we call cycling something.
Yeah, that's a
This,
good point.
I mean, but it is something you have to get into. It doesn't matter what type of value play you end up doing. If your value is drawing cards or recurring stuff, well, we could get into it some other time. It was a lot, and you saw a lot of new things, and you didn't even see half the deck.
Right. Well, I
So,
mean, that's what happened last time, right? I played the Timor, and I probably saw maybe 2/3 of the deck, maybe. Still not the last third, and that's because we played it twice with two different commanders, right? So,
well,
um,
I was going to tell you to play again, but we've been talking for about 45 minutes since the game ended, and it
yeah,
is a lot. But I mean, just look at the cards and then just maybe, I mean, while you're like just sitting there and looking at cards, it's like, okay, so like pick any one card in that deck and try to find the synergy piece. Like, what would this go well with? What does it try to achieve? How can I loop it or cycle it or whatever, right? And then just try to see if there is something in there. Because there are key pieces, right? In this case, I believe the commander is the key piece that things want to synergize with, right? Because he does put cards in the graveyard. He gets a type of card out of the graveyard, and he creates something when that happens. So there's three things he does. So what are the things that work well with any one or multiples of these three things? The zombie druids are just things on the battlefield, right? There's 2/2s. They can attack and they're not real cards, so how valuable are they? Is there something that plays with the 2/2s?
Yeah.
Maybe because they're zombies. The putting cards in the graveyard, like from the library, yeah, you saw the big dragon, right? The big dragon that, okay, if you mill a creature, one or more creatures, put one of them on the battlefield. So the two dragons, they want to be on the field together. So just try to see, like, out of these three things, which pieces in that deck play with the commander.
Yeah.
And which do not. So, and then that way you also learn, like, what do you want in your hand, right? So if you have a certain board state, like, what are you looking for to get? And if you don't get it, do you need to play something out of your hand, or do the pieces on the board create the trap or the synergy or allow you to get there? And that you can, if you just narrow your vision, like what these three things, putting cards in the graveyard, getting things out of the graveyard, or creating little tokens, which part, and then just look at the other cards, like what do they work with the commander?
Gotcha.
Alternatively, what does the other commander do? Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out after this. Yeah.
I mean, just I have them right here. So once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature from your graveyard by exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard
Mm.
and also paying its cost. And then when one or more creatures you control enter the battlefield, if one or more entered from the graveyard, you put 2 counters on this guy. This is more complicated to play than the dragon.
Yeah.
This tries to achieve multiple things, and it ends up reducing your graveyard because to get 1 creature back, you have to exile 3 other cards. So that other guy, he wants to create way more graveyard than you did right now. So it might be a little bit more complicated to play. I think Teval is the one that you want to play in that one.
I
But
think
he
so.
would be
That
good
sounds
to,
like
like, he works decently well with the other things that your commander does already. So he can be a synergy piece for him. Not 100%, but he works off of certain things. Anyways, let's
awesome.
leave it there,
Yeah.
and we'll play it again next time around.